It's time for Sustainable Living Made Easy with Glenn Baldwitz, the show that gives you helpful advice on how to live more independently. Now, here's your host, Janet Rose.
Well, hello and welcome to today's program. We're glad you're here, and I'm glad to be back with you this week. We've had quite a few storms in the post-Memorial Day weeks here, it would seem like.
Storms of life.
Yeah, I mean, good for the garden as long as it doesn't tear up the garden.
Yeah, it beat up the potato patch a little bit, and the wife panicked. I was like, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
They'll be okay. Didn't lay them flat, so they'll survive it. They just got their hair messed up.
Yeah. The winds were pretty significant, at least where we were, and I think it was throughout much of the Commonwealth.
Well, some of that may have been my fault because I went fishing and got caught in the rain.
That was your
Hadn't been
first
fishing
mistake.
a long time. Went down to the pond, went fishing, and caused a huge thunderstorm. Had to run back to the shop and get dried off. So I may have caused that.
So what do you got on your mind this week?
Just we talk about all the skills that you should have, and we've lost so many skills just because we really didn't practice them anymore. Well, you know, my mother, my grandparents, they all had little sayings and the little country wisdom, and
Absolutely.
that's what our show's about today. Is that country wisdom was not just folklore. It was out of practicality.
Right.
They knew when they seen a sign of the trees rolling their leaves up that, hey, storm's coming.
You know, I watched a documentary this weekend, and it was on June Carter, but Dolly Parton was in it. And she said, you know, even when you have to leave the country to do what you love or to follow your dream, a little bit of that country always goes with you, no matter where life takes you. And she was talking about those country sayings, that common sense, that, you know, that it applies no matter where you are. And I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Oh, absolutely. If someone were to say, it's going to rain today and the skies are blue, and you go, he's an idiot, you know.
Right.
Well, I just seen, the crows flying real low. What's that got to do with anything? Well, it's hard for a bird to fly during a low pressure system. So you throw the scientific part in, and then they go, oh, okay. But are they going to remember about the crow flying real low?
Right. Well, I mean, you know, we grew up with even things like, sailors, the sailor things, the red sky at dawn.
Red skies in the morning, sailor's morning.
Red sky at night, sailor's delight.
Correct.
Yeah. But there's truth to that.
Well, that came out of the shipping industry.
Sure.
You know, if you're a sailor, you want to know, is it going to be windy, stormy? Is the seas going to be calm or rough?
Yeah, because your life could depend on it.
Absolutely. Now, they paid attention to it because they didn't have some 14-year-old meteorologist on the TV telling them, it's going to rain in 20% of the area,
Right.
You can't really depend on the news that you're getting from your phone or your app, a weather app.
Yeah.
Because it's wrong most of the time.
Well,
it's within a general area.
It's a very broad brush. If you want something more pinpointed, you better pay attention to nature. And that's what a lot of this deals with, isn't it?
Well, if you know that what you're seeing is a sign of something coming, you would pay attention to it.
And it's funny how you do have an instinct. We had a big storm blow in, and I was telling you about this before we went on the air, and I knew because of the direction that the storm was coming from that we were in for a pretty good one. And you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. That's not going to make sense to a lot of people,
right?
But to some people,
I can smell rain coming. Yeah, I can get that. Northern states, if it comes out of the northeast, a nor'easter,
right?
They know that they're in for a blow. It's just the way it is. But do you know those kind of signs for your area?
Right.
We were talking about the Peaks of Otter. If it slips off the side of the Peaks of Otter, you can believe there's going to be 60, 70 mile an hour winds. Just the way it is.
And the mountains, it depends on how it hits the mountains. It depends on how it hits the rivers. It all factors in.
In Australia, or was it New Zealand? New Zealand, on the west coast, if the rains come in from the ocean and hit that high wall that's all along their western border. The rain goes up and then dumps down on them, and it's not rain anymore. It's ice, because that's actually coming out of the Antarctic. Mm-hmm. So all the sheep farmers have planted these huge hedges just because of this. Now, they know when it comes in that way that they need to go push their sheep or it'll kill them. The ice coats the sheep and smashes them to the ground, and there they die. Mm-hmm. So he has to be real protective of the signs that he sees. And they're helpful. I mean, it's just running your farm. If you're going to harvest your grain, you better know that the moisture content of your grain is good enough or it'll rot in the bins. So they watch for a 3-day period where the low humidity and all that kind of stuff. So they're watching for these signs, because it's unpredictable if you're just getting your news off the
right.
TV. But they can see it and they go, okay, the swallows are flying high. That was another one. So
crows low, swallows high.
Right, and there's a scientific reason for that. The swallows fly real high in good weather because the bugs are up there. It's easier for the bugs to fly because the atmosphere has high pressure, so it's easier. So it's all tied to a scientific reason.
Right.
It's just it may seem silly to hear the little rhymes or that kind of thing for you.
Yeah, but it helps you remember it.
And that's exactly why they did it.
Yeah.
So you can remember it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see the leaves turn over, especially on the silver maple, man, it'll roll those white leaves up. You go, okay, here it comes. Mm-hmm. Poplar, that's another one that has large leaves, and when it turn up, they're very white. Now, I remember that as just a young kid. That was probably the first thing I learned, Mom said, get the wash in.
Exactly.
Because it was on the line,
Yeah.
It was hanging on the clothesline.
Yeah, I've been told that.
Get the wash in because, the maples turned their leaves up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many people still know that? That's very few. Red skies in the morning.
Okay.
With low clouds, you can expect rain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just a good warning sign.
Yeah, and it's not just at the ocean.
Right, exactly. And they have signs down there that we don't have up here, of course, just by the way the animals react, the birds react. So all these things are worth watching, worth knowing. Mm-hmm. Rain with east wind will produce a long rain.
Wow.
Now, I just looked this up again, but I remember my parents saying that, oh, man, it's coming in from the east. It'll be all day.
Do you have a weather vane?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes. That's funny you said that. I was sitting there thinking about that. All the barns.
Oh, absolutely. And that wasn't just
a
look
decoration.
Yep.
It was their weather forecaster. Mm-hmm. If the rain is, if the wind's coming from, the south and the clouds are very high,
right?
You got at least 2 days of dry weather so you could farm the fields or whatever. And that's what the farmer was looking for on that weather vane. Mm-hmm. That's why they put it on the barn, because that's where he spent his time. That was the indicator. You could see it from a long way.
That was because it was usually the highest building on the place.
Absolutely. So having a good weather vane seems pretty important.
Right.
Seems more important now that I'm doing this show. Mid-morning rains will produce a big rain. If the sun comes out during a rain, it will also rain the next day.
It doesn't mean the devil's beating its wife. Did your grandma ever say that?
Oh, of course.
If the rain would come, I bet you there's people out there who've never heard that though.
I bet you.
If it rained and then the sun started, they'd be like, "Oh, devil's beating his wife."
And I think that was to make the kids pay attention.
Maybe
the devil's always around the corner anyway.
Uh-huh.
Rain before 7 will stop by 11.
What? I have never heard that one.
I remember my dad, because he was a contractor and he worked outside, and it'd be raining or something in the morning, and my mom would say, "Are you going to go to work today because it's raining?" He said, "Oh, it'll be done in a couple hours."
And that was the rule of thumb.
Yeah, just going to work. Yeah, it's going to be a little damp out there, but it'll be done before 11.
Interesting. That's interesting.
A heavy dew in the morning, and the day will be what?
Storming.
Dry.
Oh. That doesn't rhyme.
Yeah.
Come on, Glenn. Interesting.
But that's a clue for you. For you, if you see a real heavy dew in the morning, you know it's going to be a dry day. How about that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pushed all the moisture down to the ground. The barometer. Does everybody know what a barometer is? It measures barometric pressure.
Right.
Now, who gives a rat's hiney? But you've heard them talk.
Yeah.
We got a low pressure system coming in. Well, it's the atmospheric pressure.
My dad had a weather glass.
I've got a couple of these things. I got, one to shop, one to the barn, one at the house. And if you watch that thing go up and down, you can pretty much tell what weather's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you see the barometer going up, high pressure is moving in, it's
right.
clearing out. If you've been sitting in a 3-day rain going, man, what is it going to stop?
Yeah.
You look over at the barometer starts to rise, you go, finally, it's going to slack up.
Mm-hmm.
So a barometer is pretty important if you want to know what the weather's going to be. And being that we're all kind of into the prepper mode, you're going to be the weatherman. So you're going to need a couple of simple tools to figure that out. Your thermometer, a good thermometer too, and a barometer. A wind gauge. If you see the wind and it's pushing up at 15 miles an hour and picking up, something's moving in.
Right.
I'm just saying these things are going to be kind of important because you may not have that radio or your phone app or your television to tell you what the weather's going to be. I mean, I don't trust hardly anything that comes off the TV anymore.
There is that.
So, I want to depend on something that's real and substantial that I can depend on.
Right.
Because I'm outside working all the time and my gardens depend on the weather, so I want to know what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a good time to take a break, and we'll be back and we'll continue with all these wise sayings that we all should know because it tells us more than you might think, and we need to be sharing that with the next generation.
Absolutely.
We'll be back with more Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz.
Get ready for a new soundtrack for your life. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake. It's music that'll take away your troubles for a while.
That's what I'm talking about!
Wake up with Janet and Mark on the Morning Jam. They'll keep you informed and encouraged, and we all need more of that.
You say jam?
You're invited to be a part of the Doc Rock family, your feel-good station. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake.
Sustainable Living Made Easy with Glenn Boblitz. Now, here's your host, Janet Rose.
Well, hi, and welcome back. We are having so much fun talking about these wise sayings that many of which I've known because I was raised country, but some I'm not familiar with. Now, tell me what inspired today's show.
I've had like the Farmer's Almanac, and I've had several other books that have these wits of wisdom.
Sure.
But last year I run across this huge book, and it had all kinds of stuff in it, not just these country wisdoms, but all kinds of stuff, and it was a treasure trove. And let me give you the name right off the bat.
Okay.
And I'll probably do this several times a show so you don't miss it. Old Time Country Wisdom and Lore, and Good Farm Facts. But it's Old Time Country Wisdom and Lore.
Now, is old time spelled Time? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the author was Jerry Mack Johnson. Jerry
There
Mack
it
Johnson.
is. Okay.
Write that down. I am telling you, it.
How great.
Set it in the bathroom.
1,000 of them, it says.
Is it? Yeah.
Thousands of skills, traditions.
It's a fantastic book. How much is it right there online?
Oh, well, this one's for Garden and Trail. That one's $8.08. But he may have more than one, looks like.
This was a big, thick book.
Hearth and Home is one of them.
Apparently, he's broke them down.
1,000 skills for simple living. Traditional skills for simple living.
Wow, get them all. I'm just telling you, if you are a homesteader, you'll be the smartest person in the room if you keep these on hand.
That's so great. That's great.
Now, all these little signs and sayings, kind of predict the weather for the day, but what about farther out? The next is signs of spring and summer. Now, everybody knows when the daffodils come out, spring's around the corner.
Right.
When the robins show up, the spring's around the corner. But when tree bark splits in the wintertime,
Okay.
it's during the winter, it will be a hot, dry spring.
Huh. Now, was that
Now-
accurate this year?
Yes, it was, because
Okay.
I watched my apple trees.
Okay.
So these kind of things are predicting the weather for the future, so you know what to plant, how to plant, when to plant. If you want your crops to come in early and it's going to be a hot, dry spring, you want to put things in a little earlier so you get use of the moisture that's in the ground.
Yeah.
Now, these are for farm tips especially, but your garden also. So you can imagine a farmer's planting 300-400 acres of corn or wheat or whatever he's planting.
Right.
He needs to know this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, who's going to tell him that? Who's going to tell him a season ahead of time to plant his whole crop and
Right.
maybe his livelihood? So that's how these things got passed down, because they were so darn important. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be darn important again. If a hay field is leaning to the northeast, that's the main stalks are all
Yeah.
kind of leaning to the northeast, summer will be long and hot. Now, I
Okay.
don't know what causes that. Doesn't matter. It's the sign that tells you you're going to have a long, hot summer.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what it means if it leans another way, because it didn't tell me that. So, using these signs, you can figure out things. And I've just grabbed a few tidbits out of this guy's book and the things
Right.
that I remember, but there's hundreds in there to
Yeah.
tell you what's going to happen.
And he's got so many different ones,
And
you know?
and they're accurate. I mean, I can remember some of this stuff, and my wife was questioning me about it and going, "Yep, that happened this spring."
Yeah, it's fascinating.
So the signs of fall and winter: extreme summer bring extreme winter. Extreme brings extreme. Now, there's a conspiracy theory out there flying around that they're monkeying with the weather, which is highly possible. I wouldn't put it past them. And being that some of the storms we've had, it may be reason for it. I don't know. Might have went fishing. I don't know. Leaves that drop early in the fall, you'll have an early winter, but mild.
Huh.
If the leaves hold on a long time through the season, typically, the leaves turn color and they drop and everything. But if they drop them all of a sudden or hold on to them for a long time, that's a severe winter coming.
Did you ever hear, did you ever, a grandparent say, like if you had a pretty decent snowstorm, but the snow wouldn't quite melt, it just wouldn't quite go away? And my mama would say, well, it's waiting for some more to come and see it. That's what she would say.
I'll be darned.
And invariably, we would get another storm before all that snow was gone.
I remember reading something similar to that in the book, but I didn't write it down.
Yeah, she used to say that all the time. And so now, and so then, of course, that's what I would do when the kids are small. I'm like, well, it's waiting for some more to come and see it. So, which people then think you're very witchy because we don't get that much snow around here. So
Yeah, if we get snow here, really something bad happened. I don't know.
that's right.
If the husk on the corn is very tight and thick, and the nut shells, the hickory, walnut, if they're very thick and tight to the shell, that means you're going to have a hard winter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then now see, that sounds logical to me.
It does to me too, because
But-
for the preserve what's underneath.
So this fall, if you'll remember just that one thing, check the hickory nuts, check the walnuts, and then
You're assuming they
verify-
can identify those. That's
verify for yourself.
Some people
You would sound like a genius,
Yeah.
if the winter was.
get that app
super-
out and scan that tree and see what kind of nut it is.
Did the bark split?
Right.
Squirrels burying nut close to their den tree because it's going to be a bad winter. It's going to be deep snows. Now that makes sense to me
It
too.
does, sure.
Because he don't want to go out digging through deep snow, and they'll bury him
Can't blame him.
close to the trunk of the tree. I'm a smart squirrel. Birds and the bees, and well, we won't go into that part, but birds, bees, and animals. We'll say it that way so we don't get people confused.
Right.
They can forecast the day. Like I said, crows flying low, expect rain. Bees staying close to their hive or staying with short trips is an indicator rain's coming. Sometimes they won't even come out. If they know a bad rain's coming and they feel that pressure drop.
Yeah, they're like, nope.
Yeah, insects are very sensitive to pressure changes. So that's a pretty good indicator. Biting flies. Everybody knows that if flies land, a fly just agitates you.
Right.
But if the darn things come in and start biting on you, you go, why is this fly biting me? It doesn't make sense. There's going to be a storm. Now, I don't know why they bite you, but they do, and you go, wow, storm's coming. Swallows flying high means a fair weather's on the way. And it usually means for the next day. So if you go out and look at the next morning, you go, okay, they're still flying high during the day. So apparently we've got high pressure.
Right.
And there'll be a couple days of good weather. Just out of birds and animals, you can start predicting weather better than your meteorologist idiot who tells you storm stories all day
Flick.
long.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand.
Your farm animals, goats, cows, any of the four-legged hoofed animals, if they start gathering up and moving towards the barn, you better move towards the barn too because you got a storm coming. Mm-hmm. Now, horses, if they'll go to the corner of a fence and just hang out there, you're going to get a good summer shower. Okay. And they're just going to hang out. They know it's coming. They just hang out in a protected corner. Yep, they're going to go, okay, it's summer shower. Good weather. A cat can tell you whether you're going to have good weather or not. Now, how's that possible? A cat. A furball cat,
I heard a comedian say recently that he's not sure cats will get into heaven because he says you never see a CNI cat. Yeah. So his theory is they're not very useful. You are challenging that.
If a cat starts cleaning itself in the direction that his fur lays, it's going to be a dry day.
Okay.
But if you see that cat washing its face and licking its fur in the opposite direction, cleaning underneath and oiling itself up, including its face, you got rain coming.
Wow.
A storm is coming.
Okay.
How about that?
That's pretty cool.
I think we ought to put a cat up in the White House because I do believe a storm's coming.
Stop. Well, they had to get rid of all the dogs. They were biting people, right? So that might be a good idea.
All right, we've all seen cattle lay down. In the evening, they've been munching all day long, and they lay down in the evening and just kind of mellow out the last couple of hours of light. Well, that's pretty normal. But if you see them laying down early in the day, 1, 2 o'clock, you go, okay, we got a storm coming. Now, it may be that evening or it may be the next day, but you definitely have a storm coming. Cattle are a pretty good indicator.
Interesting.
Here's a funny one. Okay. Roosters crowing when they're getting ready to roost. Expect rain in the morning. Now I want to check that one.
Yeah.
Because we've had that rooster do that.
Okay.
On the way in, beating his chest and crowing. I'm going, you're a little mixed up on your timetables there. But I didn't know why. But the next time he does it,
you're going to take note.
Mark it on the calendar.
Interesting. All right.
When the chicken stays out in the rain, it will rain all day long.
What?
Yep.
Why would they stay out in the rain?
Because they know they got to eat anyway.
Okay. It's just survival.
And our chickens have done this. Rain starts.
And they won't need a dirt bath later.
Rain starts, they run to the chicken house or run into our Thunderdome, which is a little area where they get out of the weather. If they run in, the rain won't last very long.
Okay.
And they'll come back out and, everything's
start doing its thing.
But I've seen them out in the rain in the morning and they just out in the dang rain. You go, them things ain't got a brain in their head. Well,
it's probably
hungry.
A misty, slow kind of rain.
Yeah, and they know it's going to rain all day anyway. They go, heck with it. I got to eat.
Right. So my hunger is worth more than this rain's going to be. So Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Here's one. Lots of activity of lightning bugs, especially this time of year. This is when we're starting to see them. If you see them and it just looks like, just lightning going off
Like
all
a light
across
show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light show fantasia. That's a forecast of 3 days of good weather.
Oh.
And
Okay.
it has something to do with their mating season. And they don't do that where they all come out at once and really just put on a light show.
So many
They're just showing off.
great summer nights with lightning bugs. So good.
Here's another bird one, and this goes for the spring. When the purple martins arrive, now we have purple martin houses. When the purple martins arrive, there will be no more killing frost.
Oh.
Good sign for your planting seasons.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna mark that one down on the calendar.
That's
and
a
watch
good
that
one.
Yep.
Yeah, because normally you just sometimes you miss a few weeks when maybe you could have gotten some things in the ground.
Absolutely. Because everybody's just kind of freaking out, and we've lost plants to frost.
Yeah.
Should have been watching the purple martins. That's what I say.
Now you know.
Here's another timetable. By 11 a.m., you will know what the rest of the day's weather is going to be.
Wow.
How about
Okay.
that? So if it looks really crappy in the morning and you go, wonder if it's going to rain today, and if it's by 11 o'clock and it ain't rain, it ain't going to rain.
What?
Yep.
Oh, come on now.
I'm just saying.
But you have
Double check it.
thunderstorms
Check
come
it
up.
for you. Don't kill the messenger here.
Thunderstorms pop up though.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. All right.
Now, we went through this pretty quick, and I'm here to tell you this book is just fantastic. You need to get it. Old Time Wisdom and Lore by Jerry Mack Johnson. Check him out. Apparently, he's got a whole series of them.
He does.
Buy the one that fits you.
Hearth and Home, Garden and Trail. Then there seems to be like a traditional skills for simple living. That seems to be one of them. So
it is good reading, and now I'm curious.
And they're not horribly expensive.
And I want to know and verify all this. Now, the ones that I remember as a kid, my parents did, that they were for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a saying for hunters, if you can hang your powder horn on the horns of the moon, don't bother go hunting.
Oh.
It's too dry.
If that's
If
crisp.
the horns of the moon, you can hang your powder horn on that.
Okay.
Don't bother going hunting. You can't sneak up on nothing because the woods are too dry.
Wow. Interesting.
On the other hand, if the horns are pointing down and it won't hold the horn, the air will be damp and you can sneak up on your quarry.
Wow.
Now,
All right.
I can believe that one.
I know. Yeah.
And it has to do with the tides and the moons and all that kind of stuff. They all
Right.
mean something to the animals. We're just now figuring it out.
Yeah.
The moon itself is very influential to animals. It's to plants. You plant
Humans.
Yeah,
All of us. Our brains, everything.
The Farmer's Almanac was big on this. Planting by the signs. You look at the moon,
Daddy
you say,
was
okay.
all about that.
See there, one generation and we've lost it. It was cut off because we're living in a convenient world. Well, you better have a book if you.
I mean, that's the running thing, saying, what's the almanac say? And the almanac wasn't always right.
Well, in the forecasting part of it, it was never right, or not never right, but it was not quite as accurate.
You had to hold on loosely to that information.
Yeah. Well, one thing about the predictions in the almanac, everything is off the table if it's during a drought season
Right.
or a super rainy season. Things are got mixed up, the tides, whatever, are not right. The ocean currents have not quite right. So the rule of thumb gets kind of pushed to the side, but that doesn't mean that it's not accurate.
Yeah, right.
It's just an average.
Yeah.
But the averages seem to be pretty darn accurate for us, A
lot of good wisdom there. Old time country wisdom and lore is
And
what
that's-
inspired this episode.
And that's kind of what we had for today. And
That's
if you
a
want
good one.
if you want to hear more about this, give me a shout out because
Yeah.
there's so many good things in this book that
Right.
I'll do a show on in a heartbeat. You could do 10 shows out of this book with no problem.
sounds like
and
it.
it's interesting stuff. And you go, wow, I can verify that. I can remember that.
Yeah. Share your thoughts. Go to Facebook. You'll find Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblets there. You can also text us at the station if you want some direct links. You can find them on Grove Street FM, anywhere you get your podcast. Be sure to share share it with friends because it is good, simple, clean information and entertainment. 434-248-0704 is the text number directly here to Glenn. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Sustainable Living Made Easy with Glenn Ballblitz, the show that gives you helpful advice on how to live more independently. If you have a question for Glenn, you can text it 434-248-0704, or you can join our group on Facebook by searching for Sustainable Living Made Easy.